Dear students, welcome to this module on balanced diet. As we all know, food and health go hand in hand. Life can only be sustained with adequate nourishment. Man needs adequate food for growth, development, and also to lead an active and healthy life. Plants can manufacture the foods they need from simple chemicals derived from the soil, water, and carbon dioxide of the air. But higher organisms, on the other hand, do not possess this capacity to manufacture the food from simple chemicals, and hence they almost depend on plants and animals for obtaining the food they need. Procuring enough food for its survival is the main aim of the life struggle in all the higher organisms. The objectives of this module is to understand the healthy food choices in the process of menu planning, and also will enable the use of food groups in the balanced menu planning process. Now, let us see on the healthy eating practices. Eating healthy is an important part of a healthy lifestyle and is something that should be taught at a very younger age. Simple guidelines that we should always remember is eat 3 meals a day with healthy snacks in between, and also to consume as small frequent meals and not as larger heavier meals. Also, we should concentrate on the fiber in the diet through judicious use of whole grams, grains, vegetables, fruits, and also have a caution to decrease the use of salt. Drink water. This is what we always forget, and also here we should try to avoid use of carbonated beverages, the drinks and juices that are high in sugar and are only giving empty calories. Now we'll see the necessity for a balanced diet. The nutritional requirements vary according to the age, sex, physical activities, and also other physiological conditions such as the basal metabolic rate. The National Institute of Nutrition in India is engaged in continuous and updated research work on the dietary pattern of Indians and the requirements for various nutrients, both major and minor nutrients. The Nutrition Advisory Committee of the Indian Council of Medical Research has made recommendations in 1944 for all nutrients. They were then revised in 1955 and also later in 1968. In 1980, further the recommendations were made by the Nutrition Advisory Committee, and the latest requirements are available now, updated in 2016, for formulating the balanced diet for various age groups. The balanced diets must supply enough food to the body for deriving energy. Energy is simply expressed as the capacity to do work. For basic activities like heartbeat, breathing, and exertion of energy, also the energy is required. To compensate for all these human activities, we will have to plan for the balanced diet. A balanced diet must supply enough protein for building up our tissues in various parts of our body. When some tissues get worn out or used up, the proteins repair and replace them. These activities continuously involuntarily takes place in the body, which is more dependent on the energy and protein. The proteins are essential for the secretion of digestive juices and also synthesis of enzymes and for hormone production. The dietary proteins are used again for the synthesis of body proteins. The protein requirements must be met by dietary proteins. Usually in requirements, these in terms of body weight, that is 1 gram of protein is required for every kilogram of the body weight, and it is the recommendation. Energy through animal is a superior quality, and it is not a practical suggestion to depend on them for dietary proteins. In an average Indian diet, pulses are a very important sources of proteins. When nutritional scores are given to the proteins, eggs has a score higher than 90%, whereas vegetable proteins score only 45 to 50%. In case of pulses, it is 45, and to cereals it is much lesser. So it is better to consume the high biological value proteins from the sources of egg, meat, fish, poultry, and also from legumes. but it can be improved by incorporating pulse and cereal proteins together. 40 to 60 grams of pulses and 150 to 250 ml of milk can provide enough energy and proteins in a vegetarian diet. But for example, if a person is a non-vegetarian, 20 to 30 grams of pulses and 1 egg or 30 grams of meat or fish and 100 to 150 ml of milk for the whole day for the vegetarians can provide necessary requirements. Non-vegetarians can also take 2 eggs or 50 grams of meat or fish, 30 grams and 1 egg if no pulse is used in the non-vegetarian food items. The fats and oils are other major nutrients and is a cursor for many complications in the human system. The fats are concentrated forms of energy and the fat soluble vitamins are utilized only in the presence of fats. For males, 40 to 65 grams of fat and for females 20 grams of fat is included in a balanced diet in order to provide and meet the energy requirements from fat. Small quantities of vitamins own dramatic on our body, and to include the above nutrients in the daily diet, certain guidelines are suggested by the Indian Council of Medical Research (ICMR). A balanced diet must contain equal and proper proportion of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals and fiber. It must also contain these things in correct proportions and foods in such quantities as required by the individual people. The different food groups in the right amount and proportions provide all essential nutrition and hence make a wholesome, sumptuous, balanced diet. Now, let us move on to see the different nutrients that are available and present in the food. Food is the basic necessity of life, but it is important to know about the quality and caloric values that each food gives. The food will provide energy and at the same time it may be harmful to our health also if we are consuming in a wrong way. We have to consume the proportion as in energy giving foods, bodybuilding foods and protective and regulatory foods. The energy giving foods are usually the carbohydrates. The foods rich in cereals, roots and sugars usually give carbohydrates, and also the fat rich foods such as fats and oils. So these all are under the energy giving foods. Now the second category, which is the bodybuilding foods. Bodybuilding group of foods are rich in proteins and it includes foods like milk and milk products, meat and meat products, fish, eggs, pulses, nuts and oil seeds. So these all come under the bodybuilding group. The third food group is the nutrients that is categorized as the protective foods. The protective foods include all type of yellow and orange foods such as mango, papaya and also the citrus fruits, lemon, oranges and also the other foods such as the plums, banana and other seasonal fruits which are available, and the other orange vegetables such as carrots, pumpkins, lady's finger, brinjal, cauliflower and cabbage. All vegetables and fruits that are available seasonally is said to be categorized under protective foods, and they provide and protect us from diseases and are said to be healthy and protect us from the various diseases as they are colorful. Now, we will have to consume all these foodstuffs in order to maintain a good health. The carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals are simple, important, major and the minor nutrients that are present in various types of foods. Carbohydrates provide source of energy, and proteins, they are the source of materials for growth and repair, and hence they are termed under the bodybuilding category. The third nutrient, which is the fats, they are the main source of energy and they are said to be energy dense foods, as 1 gram of fat yields 9 calories, but whereas when we talk about carbohydrates and proteins, 1 gram of carbohydrates gives 4 calories and 1 grams of protein gives 4 calories, but at the same time when we consume 1 gram of fat, it gives us 9 calories and hence it is energy dense source. And also apart from this energy dense source, it also gives us the fat soluble vitamins. Apart from these three major nutrients, carbohydrates, proteins and fats, we also talk about vitamins and minerals, which are the minor nutrients. Vitamins are required in very smaller quantities, but it is very much essential to consume all types of vitamins that we talk about, the fat soluble and water soluble vitamins, and to keep us healthy and free from diseases, and hence it is categorized as the protective foods. And also as part of this protective foods, we also have the minerals. So minerals such as the major minerals and the minor minerals, which are required in very lesser minute quantities, are required essentially for healthy teeth, bones, muscles, etc., and to keep us fit and keep going active. Apart from all these major and minor nutrients, we also have another important concept, and which we forego, is the fiber. This is required to help the intestinal functions and proper bowel movements, and helps in the movement of the foods in the intestine properly without any delay to the nutrients. Such way, the food items that contribute to nutrients are grouped together and certain food groups are evolved. Earlier, the foods were categorized and grouped as 11 group system. So this is mainly based on the nutrients that they provide and the order in which the nutritive value is described. They include cereals and millets, pulses, nuts and oil seeds, vegetables, fruit, milk and milk products, meat, fish, egg and poultry, fats and oils, sugar and jaggery, and finally the spices and condiments. So all together we have all these 11 food groups, and it is ideally said that we'll have to include all of these food items in a menu. But nowadays, for a precise and an adequate process of balanced menu planning, 5 food group system as suggested by Indian Council of Medical Research is usually followed in individual counseling and also in the community based approaches for assessment and dietary counseling. These comprises of the 5 food groups, which is number 1 cereals and millets, number 2 pulses and legumes, number 3 vegetables and fruits, number 4 milk and meat products, and number 5 fats and sugars. So it is easy to remember and plan menus keeping in mind these 5 food categories for each menu that is planned. Now we will see all of these food groups in detail. The number 1 is cereals and millets. The cereals and millets constitute about 60 to 80% of calories on a daily diet. Cereals form a major part of the diet. Rice, wheat form the major staple foods in India, as we have rice in the southern parts. The northern parts of the country has wheat as their staple food and contribute to the major proportion of the nutrients required in the body. Also, apart from these rice and wheat, we have other cereals such as jowar, maize, oats, and millets such as bajra, finger millets, pearl millets, which are nowadays gaining health conscious, and people started using as source of carbohydrates and fiber, and also they provide energy. Now the second food group is pulses and legumes. Pulses, especially the dried pulses, are rich in proteins, and cereal pulse combination is an excellent substitute for animal proteins. Pulses are also good sources of B vitamins, and sprouting process increases the vitamin C content in pulses and also devoids the toxic substances present in pulses. Certain B vitamins, vitamin E, and minerals like phosphorus, iron are also present in pulses. They serve as a double function as energy giver and also bodybuilding function. This is the function of the second food group. Now let us move on to see what are the nutrients that are given by the third food group, which is vegetables and fruits. Vegetables are the storehouse of carotenes, riboflavin, folic acid, and all sorts of vitamins and minerals, especially vitamin C, calcium, and so on. Vegetables also supply water and roughage to the body, that is the fiber. Green leafy vegetables, other vegetables, roots and tubers are the different categories in vegetables. Fruits in general are good sources of vitamin C and other vitamins. Therefore, judicious and complete use of seasonal vegetables and fruits must be used in the diet every day so as to get the vitamins and mineral requirements in the body. Now, let us move on to see what is in the fourth food group, which is milk and meat products. Milk is the nature's best food as it is almost complete with high proteins except for two, iron and vitamin C. Like milk, egg is also rich source of proteins of high biological value. Animal foods like meat, fish and poultry are rich sources of protein, calcium. And also the other organ meats such as liver are good sources of protein, especially the high biological value proteins, vitamin A, B and iron. For non-vegetarians, pulses can be reduced to 50% and instead of that, 1 egg or 30 grams of meat or fish can be included in the diet to meet the protein requirements from this fourth group of milk and meat products. Also, when we move on to this fifth category of food grouping, which is fats and sugars, which is always on the top of the pyramid, which occupies the smallest place, has a critical and crucial role in everyone's diet as it cautions the use of fats that can prevent many diet related disorders. Fats in proper proportions such as saturated fats, monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats in the ratio of 1:1.5:1 is a recommended allowance. Hence, the selection and use of vegetable oils such as gingerly oil, groundnut oil, olive oil, mustard oil in order to provide the unsaturated fats and butter, ghee or coconut oil in smaller proportions in everyday diet to contribute to the saturated fatty acids in the diet will make the menu a balanced one. Sugar and jaggery, which is also used every day in small quantities, are good source of energy, and it is advisable to use honey and jaggery instead of sugar, which contains minerals like iron and can be used which is without any adulterants. The condiments and spices are also used to enhance palatability, and it forms a traditional use that we use spices and condiments in everyday's menu. Care must be taken to use all these food groups, namely the cereals and millets, pulses and legumes, milk and meat products, vegetables and fruits, and fats and sugars, and care must be taken to use good quality products, that is branded ones without any adulterants. Food standards such as AGMARK for dairy products, ISI, FPO, MPO, the food product order, meat product order must be seen while purchasing the food products for use at home and other purposes. This is the way we think while we plan the menus, and this is the basic food grouping system which categorizes all foods together into 5 basic umbrella, and so that we use and plan the balanced menu. Now we will move on to the next session of the balanced diet to see how to make healthy food choices. The food guide pyramid is a guideline to help us to eat and plan a healthy diet. The food guide pyramid can help us to eat a variety of foods while encouraging the right amount of calories and fat, and not a higher amount or not a lower amounts. The food pyramid is divided into 6 colored bands representing these 5 food groups plus 1. The orange represents the grains. It says make half the grains consumed each day, especially the whole grains which provide fiber, instead of using the processed foods such as maida. Whole grain foods include oatmeal, whole wheat flour, whole cornmeal, brown rice and whole wheat bread. Check the food label on processed foods. The words whole or whole grain should be listed before the specific grain in the product. Otherwise, it is usually a processed one wherein the bran layer is removed and it becomes fiber is removed from the food products. Now, the second color band is green, which represent for vegetables. Vary your vegetables. As we all know, vegetables and fruits are colorful, and when we use these colorful vegetables and fruits in our diet, most of the diseases are gone, and that is why they are said as protective foods. Choose a variety of vegetables including the dark green and the orange colored vegetables, and especially the legumes such as peas, beans, starchy vegetables and other vegetables that are in season and fresh. The third color band is red, that represent for fruits. Focus on fruits. Any seasonal fruits should be included every day to provide and meet the vitamin and mineral requirements for our body, and it is advisable to consume fruits as such and not to go for fruit juices, that is especially canned and preserved. Now the fourth band is the yellow, representing oil. Know the limits of fats and sugars, salt, but also we should remember the careful use of fats, sugars and salt is also essential. Make most of your fat sources from fish, nuts and vegetable oils so that we stand healthy. Now the fifth color band represents milk. So this represents the calcium rich foods. Milk and milk products contain calcium and vitamin D, both important ingredients in building and managing the bones and tissues. Use low fat or fat free milk after the age of 2 years. However, during the first year of life, infants should be breastfed or fed with iron fortified formulas, while cow's milk may be introduced after an infant's first birthday, but lower fat or skim milk should not be used until the child is at least 2 years old. Later, the preferences may be for the skimmed milk, homogenized milk and other toned milks which are available with reduced fat content. So the sixth one, the last color band, is purple, representing meats and bones. It says go lean on protein. Choose low fat or lean meats and poultry. Vary your protein routine, choosing more fish, nuts, seeds, peas and beans, as they are rich source of proteins and are especially the high biological value proteins with all proper essential amino acids in the diet. And we also should try to reduce the consumption of chicken and mutton in the forms of protein. Now we will move on to see the next one, which is the guidelines for healthy food choices. The healthy choices, the food and drink guidelines provide a voluntary framework for improving the availability, display and promotion of healthier food and drinks in retail outlets and also vending machines when we are out. The recommendations regarding the supply, display, advertising and placement of foods and drinks are outlined with relevant sections on healthy choice guidelines, along with the informations including healthier food and drink choices, criteria to identify food and drinks that should be limited, and the third, promotion of healthier choices. The aims and objectives of this healthy food choice guidelines is to increase the availability of healthier food and drink consumption when we are out in retail outlets by creating an environment which actively promotes and provides a greater choice of nutritious foods and drinks. The objectives of these guidelines are to improve the availability of healthy drinks, identify and promote healthy choices, identify and reduce the availability of less healthy choices like especially the carbonated and processed preserved foods, and ensure healthy choices available at all times. For all these to happen, we should ensure to build a healthy base. Let the pyramid guide your choices. Choose a variety of grains, especially the whole grains and whole grams. Choose a variety of fruits and vegetables every day and keep foods safe to eat and without any deterioration in the quality of the foods that we consume. Choosing sensibly also plays a vital role. Choose a diet that is low in saturated fat and cholesterol, but with moderation in total fat is also required for our body functions. Choose beverages and foods to moderate your intake of sugars, and choose and prepare foods with less salt. Now, health at last for a happy life. A skill is a learned ability to do something well. These life skills are abilities of the individuals that can be learned and help them to live a fruitful life. The abilities for adaptive and positive behavior and challenges everyday life. It further encompasses the thinking skills, social skills, and the negotiation skills that helps the younger people to develop and grow into well-behaved adults. Life skills are the abilities that help to promote the mental well-being and the competence among the younger people to take positive health and positive actions to protect themselves and promote health as a meaningful social relationship. Life skills facilitates the complete and integral development of individuals to function effectively as a healthy, quality social beings with various skills like leadership, responsibility, good communication, intellectual capacity, self-esteem, and interpersonal skills, etc., extends its maximum level. If it is practicing effectively among the youth, need to create the life skill education as the cornerstone for various youth development programs. Special activities like leadership training, communication interactions, understanding self, making decisions, working with groups as teams, socialization will add to the quality of youth and especially the younger generation. Lifelong fruitful learning leads to a healthy and happy life only when behavioral changes occur much in the lower and the younger age groups. Now, as a conclusion to this module, today people are facing many dietary disorders such as obesity, heart diseases, diabetes mellitus, and so on, especially due to the unhealthy food choices and improper menu planning process practiced at home and also at the food service outlets. It can be rectified only with the knowledge of foods and its healthier choices. Overweight and obesity are increasingly prevalent health concerns all over the globe. Proper dietary education and behavioral modifications, especially in the younger generation and in the younger people, will pave way for quality living. Good health cannot be achieved without good food. Food is a source of nutrients. Selecting and consuming it in the right type of food in right amounts becomes very much important. Let us all eat healthy and stay healthy. Thank you.